We're driving a 2022 Subaru WRX. Coming up, we're going to tell you how the WRX can help improve your relationship with your family. But first, information explosion. I promise we're going to get sporty in just a little bit, but let's begin with interior. Interior style thoughts?
It's pretty sporty.
It is pretty sporty. Yeah, you got this red stitching here on the seats and also elsewhere throughout the interior. But even on the base trim, you still get that red stitching, although you have less premium materials. We've got the Ultra Suede here.
It is so soft and it looks so nice, and I am so curious how it would hold up to repeated takeout taco nights.
Kiddo, what do you think about the interior of the car? That is amazing. We found the one car that my kiddo doesn't mind its new car smell. In terms of practicality, it's actually pretty basic in here. You got a little pocket here and there and a few little places to put some knickknacks, small center console storage.
I do really appreciate this storage right below the plugs because it doesn't interfere with your shifting. Another thing I really like about the interior is that this matte plastic, when you touch it, your fingerprints don't appear the way they do on shiny black plastic.
What do you think about this trim right here?
Does it make the car go faster? Because it looks like carbon fiber.
Sure. That's why we're going fast like this. Whee! Because there's something that looks like carbon fiber but isn't. Moving to the back seat, one minor complaint, no rear seat vents, and we love our daughter and we like her to be cool and comfortable on a warm day like today. But my knee room is quite excellent for an average sized guy. Headroom is a little bit tight. I can sit back there. I'm 5'10" with a long torso before you ask, but I wouldn't mind a little more headroom, but I can make it work. But if you're tall, the rear seats might be a bit of a challenge.
Especially that center seat. Your feet don't lie flat on the floor. It's a little bit narrow back there.
Yeah, you get that big center hump. That's more emergency use if you have a small child that you need to bring along. For cargo space, you have 12.5 cubic feet of space, which is pretty cozy. One thing I noticed is that when you open the hatch, it doesn't want to come up quite enough, or if you do kind of help it up, it bounces off the top. This is a real nitpicky thing, but I kind of wish it would just sort of like stop in a more dignified way. It just feels a little bouncy. Oh, and I also wish that there were seat releases for the rear seat backs in the cargo area rather than having to come around to the side of the vehicle to release them. But you do get that 60/40 split fold function, so if you need more space for carrying larger items, the WRX can accommodate.
There are latch flaps in this vehicle. They're kind of long and floppy. And because of that sloped roofline, it does take a little bit of angling to get the car seat in. Despite
the sloping roofline, I do like the fact that the doors in the rear open very wide. Kid, what do you think? Is it easy to get in and out of this car?
Yes,
very easy for a small child. Moving on to safety, the WRX, which is all new for the 2022 model year, has not been rated by the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration or the IIHS. It does have 7 airbags, but something strange, you cannot get the EyeSight suite of active driver assists on WRXs equipped with the manual transmission.
Huh, I guess they think you're not interested.
I hope that's not what they think, because I actually am quite interested in having active safety in a vehicle with a manual transmission. Other manufacturers make those kinds of driver assist features available with manual transmission, so I'm not sure why Subaru finds it so difficult. If you do buy a car with the continuously variable transmission that they offer, then you get lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, and to me, those are kind of essentials in the modern era. I think for a small family, you could make this work and it could be small family friendly. However, with the small trunk space and the limited availability of the safety features, I don't think we can give it the badge. Rear window test.
All the way down.
All the way down. Armrest test. Driving my comfortable 8 and 4, neither of my elbows touch the armrest, especially inboard. The armrest here is very far back. I almost can't touch it if my hand is anywhere near the steering wheel. I'm gonna go 20% on the inboard. The outboard, by the way, pretty soft. And if I'm willing to take my hand off the steering wheel, I can use it. I'll go 60% there. Hey, have you subscribed to our channel? If you haven't, please do, because then you'll get to see more of these kinds of videos if this is the kind of thing you want to see in your feed. Style! Pardon the brief interruption, but let me thank the sponsor for today's video, Flying Eyes Sunglasses. Their sunglasses are not like normal sunglasses. They're made out of a material called resilamide, which is incredibly durable. You can bend it like that, and that lets it do things that other sunglasses can't do, like fit very, very comfortably underneath a headset or a helmet. It also weighs very little, which is why Evie, with her ophthalmic line and her prescription in that, loves wearing them all day long.
This is true. These are the most comfortable frames I've ever owned. They also come with these removable magnetic tinted lenses that you can pop on and make them into sunglasses, or take them off if you're just hanging out at home with your cat.
Are you and your cat ready to upgrade to aviation grade eyewear? If so, click the link in the description below. Use the promo code Micah for 10% off. Flying Eyes! Style thoughts?
I like the black body cladding on this.
What? What? Shocking. Hot take, everybody. It's a hot take. Sweetie likes the body cladding.
Wow.
Is Sweetie crazy for liking the body cladding? If yes, if no, tell us in the comment section. Proceed with your comment.
Well, now I don't want to.
Oh, I want to hear it. You got it. You're committed now.
One thing I like about the body cladding, which I do like, is the dimensionality of it. On some vehicles, it's just kind of flat, slapped on there. Mm-hmm. Like in the front, there's that honeycomb look to it. On the sides, it protrudes a little bit. It helps finish the shape that the doors are already making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in the back, if you are a skateboarder, you can do like a 50-50 grind on the rear body cladding.
There's a lot on the rear.
I will say that in pictures, I thought, my goodness, what are they doing? And in person, I haven't even really thought about it.
Interesting.
It just goes to show your perception of a vehicle really changes when you see it in person versus pictures, or even on video. Even amazing videos made by amazing people.
Ooh, we should watch some of those. Oh.
If you're curious, this particular Subaru WRX is swathed in WR Blue Pearl paint, and I think it looks quite nice. And something I really love about Subaru is they've got a whole wide selection of paint colors, and none of them cost extra. Thank you, Subaru.
I can't believe neither of us has mentioned the intake yet.
Well, you're about to hear about it. It's a functional intake. That's all I got. What do you guys think? Do you like the look of the Subaru WRX? If yes, if no, tell us in the comment section. And if you're curious what we're doing between YouTube videos, you can give us a follow over on Instagram. In motion! I work in the city, I live in the mountains. Can I tell you why that is such a blessing?
Because you get to come home to us?
That, and when I picked up the Subaru WRX at my office job, I started driving the thing and I thought, my goodness, this thing rides very firm. Feels like it's riding on aftermarket springs. I feel like I'm bouncing a lot. The steering ratio feels almost too swift. And then on the way home, I got to the mountains. Once I hit those curves, everything made much more sense. Speedy response, incredible grip. It feels so confident cornering. And what I realized is that your experience of the vehicle is very dependent on the context in which you're experiencing it. So I'm so glad we get to experience vehicles in a variety of settings. And for me, all that firmness and kind of the like nervous immediacy of its handling didn't make sense in the city, makes a ton of sense in the mountains. Interestingly, in Subaru's press materials, they talk about how the steering ratio is a quick steering ratio. By the numbers, it is the exact same ratio as like the Subaru Forester we drove recently, 13.5 to 1. I wonder if this is a little bit quicker on center, but the same overall ratio. Whatever it is, it does feel like it moves off center with great haste, and that immediacy really adds to the fun when you're driving. There's just super, super fast reactions, and in fact, we have gotten to the sporty part of the drive. We're gonna go around this corner very fast. Are we feeling okay? We're feeling good? Having fun? Yeah! As long as you're driving zippily, I'm gonna talk about the powertrain, it feels turbocharged. As you floor it, let's say from 3,000 RPM there, it takes a beat for that turbo to really come into boost, and then when it does, it feels great. Linearity in the engine reactions are typically desirable, but I have noted that turbocharged engines do have kind of a fun spirit of their own. That kind of pause and then explosion of power is thrilling. To me, it's not good or bad, it's just all part of the character, and I enjoy the character of the WRX's engine. And in terms of power, I think there is plenty. What do you think, guys? Is there plenty of power?
Yep.
Yep. As for the manual transmission we have here, well, first observation, I was able to do a heel-toe downshift pretty easily there, so good pedal placement. And then going back and forth between second and third gear. It's not like this is a super short throw transmission, but it's, you know, kind of not too long, not too short. And in case I sound too positive, I'm going to mention that the brakes do feel like they require more effort to really get the bite you want than I would be used to. Not literally so, but when you go to Dirtfish Rally School, we've both been, they have unboosted brakes and they take a lot of effort to get the vehicle to slow. This is not the same thing, but it is a little reminiscent. All right, that's the kind of esoteric observation that lets me know it's time for me to stop talking. I am so curious how you feel driving the Subaru WRX.
I didn't think it was like a really stiff suspension until you started driving and I was trying to apply lipstick.
Yeah, it does ride firmly, but also everywhere we drive there is a curve.
Yes.
To enjoy the curves.
It is actually kind of fun. Don't tell anyone I said that.
We don't want the word getting out that Sweetie's fun.
I do like the way it flings you out a little bit as you turn, or maybe I'm just driving faster than I normally do.
I have noticed that. In the cars where you feel comfortable and they are fun, you sort of naturally drive more quickly.
Yes.
We got to ask about visibility though. How do you find it?
The pillars are all a little bit more narrow than I've seen in other vehicles.
100%. This is as close to driving a car from like the 80s or 90s as I've experienced in a long time, because the view in almost all directions is unimpeded. Even the C pillar is pretty thin. That window goes back pretty far. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but can you see out just fine?
I can see out just fine.
Last question. We've driven a few cars recently with a manual transmission where you had a little bit of trepidation because you don't drive manuals all that often. Now that you've been driving manuals more frequently, how are you feeling driving this manual?
I'm not sure if it's more recent practice or if it's just an easier one to use, but I am enjoying it.
So there's nothing about the manual transmission that makes it less approachable.
Correct.
Cool. All right, Sweetie's having some fun and she's feeling pretty comfortable in the WRX. I'm getting back in the driver's seat. Overall, I think there's a lot of fun potential here. If you can exploit its fun potential, the WRX's firmness is worth it. Let me very quickly thank the folks on Patreon who support us. We love giving you guys early access to our videos and chatting with you guys over there. Thank you for your support, patrons. Bounce,
Thank
bounce,
you.
bounce. Emotion factor. Do you think there's an emotion factor here?
Oh my gosh, yes. Specifically with the way you're driving it. Also, when you look in the cabin, there's like, you see the manual transmission, you see the e-brake, which how often do you see that in a modern vehicle? And you know that this is made for driving fun.
These roads that we're driving right now in the wintertime are covered with snow and ice, and I do think that would be fun. I also think that the aesthetic of the car does speak to its actual spirit. There's a convergence between its style and how it actually behaves, and I love that. It does feel like a sporty vehicle that is indeed sporty. There's a strong emotion factor here. If you're feeling emotionally drawn to buy a Subaru WRX of your very own, you're probably going to need to sell your current car first. If you need to know how much it's worth, let Kelley Blue Book, the trusted resource in vehicle pricing, be your guide. There's a link in the description to help you find the pricing for your vehicle. Remarks! Remark number one, infotainment.
I really love the look of the infotainment here. Like, the icons are big enough to see, there's space between them, and they are all very distinctly color-coded. There aren't very many buttons involved, but there are knobs, which I appreciate.
By the way, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto come standard. This is an 11.6-inch screen, but the base version gets dual 7-inch screens.
I also really like that they offer physical buttons here for adjusting the temperature, and that makes it easy to do while I'm driving.
Speaking of buttons, the start button here is not visible when you get into the vehicle. So the very first thing I did was push the trip reset button with aggression, like, dang it, why is this thing not starting?
Me too!
I'm so glad I wasn't the only one to do that. This is the kind of thing you only have a problem with the first time you drive it if you're a car reviewer. If you own the car, this won't be a problem, but I thought it was kind of funny. In the beginning of the video, we teased that we were going to tell you how the WRX can improve your relationship with your family. Here's how. It can remember birthdays and anniversaries. Because family is important, but dates are hard to remember. Thanks, WRX. As mentioned earlier, we live in the mountains and we do have snow here, and I think it's worth mentioning the ground clearance in the Subaru WRX is only 5.4 inches, which is not a lot. So if you have plans to drive your WRX in the snow, let the plow go out first. We hinted at it earlier, but the Subaru Performance transmission is an option. And when you hear that, you think, it's an automatic or something, or maybe a dual clutch. No, it is a continuously variable transmission. It has 8 preset ratios that you can select with paddle shifters. It comes with the SI drive selector, so you can change how aggressive the accelerator reactions are, which we don't have in this vehicle. And the price for that transmission is anywhere between $1,800 and $2,200, depending on which trim you're adding it to. But if you like to drive with only 2 pedals rather than 3, that is an option that's available to you. Interestingly, fuel economy actually goes down 1 mpg on the highway versus the manual transmission. So if you love fuel economy, get the manual.
Not because it's more fun, right?
No, this isn't about fun at all. This is about saving the planet. Sweetie.
Yes.
Can I give you a trim recommendation?
Oh boy!
By the way, the trim recommendation is the cheapest possible trim that includes all the features you would regret not buying. I think it's worthwhile to spend an extra $2,500 and move up from the base trim to the premium trim. That adds this 11.6-inch screen, heated front seats, rear USB ports, that little spoiler that's on the trunk back there, and Smart Key Access, a feature I will not live without. Oh, and if you want to go all out with your WRX, the GT trim costs almost $42,000, and it comes with adaptive dampers and a variety of drive modes, which I think is very, very odd that they only save it for the highest trim because drive modes are so ubiquitous now. It also comes with Recaro front seats and a standard Subaru Performance transmission. As for the competitive set, oh my, there are some spicy names on here. There's the Volkswagen GTI, we've got the Hyundai Elantra N, the Mazda 3 hatchback, the turbocharged version, that's a really compelling one that you can also get with all-wheel drive. And then there's the Honda Civic Si, which we drove recently and enjoyed. If you're curious what we thought about the Honda Civic Si with Evie at the wheel and a little bit of me, click up here. If we missed any remarks, please let us know in the comment section. Synopsis! In thinking about the essence of the Subaru WRX, it's fast, it's capable, but I wish it prioritized safety just a little bit more. To me, it is the Travis Pastrana of sporty compact sedans. Do you have a better synopsis? If so, tell us in the comments section. If you'd like to see more of these kinds of videos with us reviewing cars as a family, plus the occasional helicopter videos, feel free to subscribe. And if you're curious what we're doing between YouTube videos, you can give us a follow over on Instagram. Family, I think we've done a pretty good job reviewing the Subaru WRX. May I have a 5? Ow! And a 5? Yeah, that's a pretty good 5. And you can get your high 5. Ah!